Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yep. I was just ready to ask for other matters to come before the board.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I have one other matter. Trustee Lebrano is handing out a proposed resolution. We have enough copies for the board, not enough for everybody in this larger room. I informed the board this morning that I would propose this resolution. Because most of you don't have it, nor will it be on the screen, I'm going to read it to you verbatim. I will try to read quickly. I recognize how late it is. Proposed resolution, re the July 12th, 2012 report of the Special Investigative Counsel issued by Freeh, Sporkin, and Sullivan, LLP, Freeh Report. Whereas certain conclusions of the Freeh Report have damaged the reputations of Penn State, certain of its former officials, and its Board of Trustees. Whereas the Freeh Report is acknowledged by the NCAA to have formed part of the basis for the consent decree the NCAA imposed on Penn State. Whereas certain conclusions of the NCAA investigation have caused financial and reputational damage to Penn State, certain of its former officials, and to its Board of Trustees. Whereas the Board of Trustees accepted the Freeh Report and the conclusions stated therein on the basis that the Freeh Report was accurate, complete, and the product of a comprehensive investigation. Whereas the Board of Trustees accepted the NCAA investigative findings on the same basis. Whereas the Board of Trustees believed the NCAA had adhered to its own charter and bylaws and was authorized by those documents to impose each of the various punishments in the consent decree, and on that basis the Board of Trustees endorsed the consent decree. Whereas in the nearly 2 years since the Freeh Report was issued, credible criticisms of the Freeh Report have emerged. Whereas in the nearly 2 years since the NCAA consent decree was imposed, credible criticisms of the process by which the NCAA adopted the investigative findings in the Freeh Report, and credible criticisms of the manner in which the NCAA adhered to its own charter and bylaws in imposing punishments on Penn State have emerged. Whereas the Board of Trustees has come to question the accuracy and completeness of the Freeh Report and has come to believe that it may not be conclusive in all material respects, and whereas the board believes it is imperative to fully investigate all matters not fully addressed by the Freeh investigative team. That's the end of the whereases. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees shall immediately undertake to identify those matters not fully investigated by Freeh and complete the investigation of such matters. That's the end of the resolution. I'd like a second, if I may. I second. Thank you. Typically, and I don't know what the protocol is, typically we would discuss this resolution. In essence, this resolution, it basically says to the Board of Trustees to finish the investigation started but not completed by Mr. Freeh. General Counsel Dunham has asked me to suspend discussion of this matter at the moment because he believes that discussion of the matter in the resolution will, in fact, require that we move to executive session because of a variety of privilege issues, all of which you all have heard about, I suppose, before. I agreed with our General Counsel to suspend discussion. I don't know when we will have discussion, but I am prepared to suspend the vote on this matter until the September public meeting where I will ask for a roll call vote on this resolution. I think that's all that I have. Thank you.
Mr. Dunham, do you have anything else to report on?
No, I think that confirms the conversation I had with Trustee Lord, which is that the resolution overlaps in significant part with multiple legal proceedings and multiple legal issues facing the university, and discussion would require a privileged discussion, that the privilege is in the best interest of the university and serves the public interest, and to protect and promote it, it would be best to defer discussion until later, and if we assume Trustee Lord's motion carries with it a suggestion that there not be a vote today, but only after a discussion in the future, I don't think there needs to be any other action by this board other than to wait for a later
That is
time
precisely
to
right.
discuss it.
Thank you.
Is there any other action to bring before the board? Yes.
Point of clarification, what's the process going forward with this? How does this get resolved?
We would expect to have a discussion on this proposal at a future executive session of our board.
Thank you.
Yes.
Would it be proper to table this because of the adjournment?
Well, I guess it was properly moved and seconded. But there's no,
Part of the consider, part of the terms of the motion were to agree to the suspension. It sounds like we're in agreement that
we don't call for a vote, yeah.
Right.
I hope we're in agreement. I mean, the general counsel suggested that this conversation would ultimately require that either we move or the rest of the audience move. And thought that was going to be a little bit inconvenient. So I am prepared to.
I don't think we need to talk about this anymore because I think we are in agreement.
Well,
The question here is a point of order here. The question that was raised, do we need to table this motion? Because it was a motion made to the floor with a proper second. So the Robert's Rules question is, which is asked by Trustee Hartzer, is, do we need to table this motion? So I think in an abundance of caution, it wouldn't hurt to agree to table the motion. So
well,
Trustee,
who has to agree to table it?
our board. So,
And what is the significance of that?
well, it formalizes what we just informally did, so.
Exactly.
But if we need a motion, I move that we table the discussion of the resolution proposed by Mr. Lord until the next available executive session.
That would suit me better to provide closure. at
On the
least-
question,
Yes,
I think there needs to be at least an understanding, because he's going to need a vote to take it off the table then, that this body is prepared to take it off the table at the next, at September meeting. If that's not the case, if the purpose is here behind this, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything right now, but I've been in too many
but the purpose is not to
situations where
shelve it.
that's
The
happened.
The purpose is to not have an outstanding motion on our floor.
That's fine.
The purpose of this is to further discussion until our next meeting.
I would just respectfully suggest that, that the purpose is to do just that.
Right.
And it will be brought off the table then in September. Thank you.
Is there a second to, okay, it's moved and seconded to table this motion until the September meeting. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Meeting adjourned.